Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Dulé Hill talks Good American Family interrogation scenes and miscarriage of justice for Natalia Grace. The agony of injustice continues on Good American Family's latest episode. This time, we get a flashback to the moment when Natalia Grace, Imogen Faith Reed, finds out she's been re-aged by the courts. She's already locked away in an institution and is suddenly switched from the children's wing to the adult ward. So she goes from telling innocent ghost stories with her friend to being threatened with shackles for misbehavior. The saddest part? She lost her Hercules bunny, the one thing that was ever hers from the Barnetts. The memory is part of the on-camera statement she's decided to provide for Detective Drysdale, Dulé Hill, and it gives him an idea. Since Natalia wasn't present for the re-aging hearing, she didn't get due process, and they can petition for reconsideration. We then see the Barnetts experiencing their version of martial bliss in Canada, with Christine Ellen Pompeo busy being famous and having a hairdresser making house calls and such, while Michael, Mark Duplass, bakes goodies for her and the kids on Valentine's Day. Their bliss is disrupted a bit by a letter revealing Natalia's new family is petitioning to have her real age restored. They deny it again and again for years until they get a new request. The Manns now want to become Natalia's legal guardians. They can't have that, though, because then the Manns will be able to re-age her themselves, and the Barnetts will be guilty of abandoning a child. She sends Michael to meet with an attorney in Indiana and fight the proposal. Once there, he receives an explicit text image from Christine and knows it's not meant for him. After confronting her about it on a call, Michael seizes an opportunity to hook up with his former Circuit City colleague who's had a shine for him. With his marriage over, will he finally stop doing Christine's bidding in this case? No. With Michael now remarried and estranged from his children after Christine claimed spousal abuse, Drysdale plays to those frustrations and gets Michael to admit on tape that Christine abused Natalia. The Barnetts begin a media blitz as their main means of defense, but the penultimate episode ends with Natalia following suit with her own nationally televised interview. The journey that Natalia goes on leaves Drysdale frustrated with the very judicial system he has served his entire career. So to break down everything the character goes through in his quest to help Natalia, TV Insider caught up with Dulé Hill. Oh, that's a good question. You know what? I think that may have been something that came out of Katie Robbins and Sarah Sutherland. But it was something that I think really was interesting to me about the character and the journey that Detective Drysdale went on, because at first, he did not have his own child, but it made it that much more effectual for him once he did have his own child to realize that there was a child out there who he knew, at least from his point of view, wasn't getting the same things that he was able to give his child. And then also I think what was really touching about that too was the dream-deferred aspect of it. He had a desire for a family for so long, and he had to be patient through the process and wait for it. But then somebody else was able to have a family, and from his point of view was not willing to give that love and base support there for the child it was something that he needed. That really motivated him to keep on pressing forward. I think for myself, I really took it from my own experience. I have two very bright children. One is older now, she is 20, and then my son is 5 going on 50. And I think just having that real-life experience informed me of a way to approach the role because I have grown-up conversations with kids all the time. I think oftentimes we put it on children that they don't know. But I think the reverse is actually what is true. I'll never forget there was a mentor I had throughout most of my life, a good friend of the family. His name is Dr. Ibrahim Abdul Malik, and he was, at the time, in his early 90s, and I finally was able to bring my son to meet him here in New York. And both Jasmine and I were saying, man, he's so fresh. He doesn't know anything. We have so much to teach him. And he said, let me correct you on that. He said, children come into this world knowing a lot. They've just not figured out how to communicate it with us yet. They know how they feel. They know what they want. So it's our job to be able to understand what the children want and then go from there. That always stuck with me because you always think, as a little child, they don't know anything. No, they actually know a lot. Anyway, that's a long-winded way of me saying I used all of that in those dynamics. He was so phenomenal as Natalia. I keep calling her Natalia. Well, Christina is just a phenomenal actress. She's a wonderful artist who brings so much as the camera just starts to roll. So I think as an actor, as long as you are listening and you are staying connected, if you're working with another actor, someone as wonderful as Christina, there isn't much to develop because she gave so much. I mean, I wouldn't say that we overtly talked about it. I know even from Christina's side, she joined the cast, and I think within like 36 hours, she was on the set, so she really came in and hit the ground running. But really, it was all right there in the script. You can't help but feel that energy and not be aware of it and react to it. I think Katie Robbins and Sarah Sutherland did a wonderful job of crafting the nuance of the relationship. For myself, especially in this story, but I think in life as well, there's always shades of truth, and I think for Drysdale, he took Cynthia with a grain of salt. He appreciated her, but also I think he was not completely sure of her as well. So that's why I think a lot of that headbutting came up. Their approaches to things were different. Yeah, and I think that was the oil and vinegar aspect of Cynthia Mans and Detective Drysdale, the aspect of them that you saw on the screen. Really, I approached it musically, if that makes any sense. It really was just playing a song with the person that you were looking to get the information from. And some pieces of music will start off just hitting you hard, but other ones will twiddle's fingers. It sounds so lovely as they begin. Oh, this is nice and easy and warm, and then as it goes, it keeps building, and it transitions really into a full-on press, and that was really the thing. And maybe that's because of my musical theater background, or me being a tap dancer, but that is how I saw that scene happening. I really appreciated playing a role like that, a scene like that, with the dynamic of being able to come in and build. In life, there's always a little bit of a sweet and sour, and I appreciate being able to play that on screen. Love David Paymer, and to be able to do a scene with him. They really assembled a wonderful cast of artists. They really did. And every time you got a chance to do a scene, you were working with actors who hit the ground running and were ready to play. And David Paymer played who, from my point of view, is this sleazy slimeball doctor. He played him so well that actually made it fun to corner him and to get him caught up. Because through the whole process, he thought he was smarter than everybody else, and I appreciated being able to play the one who really caught him up. I appreciate being able to play the chicken who came home to roost. Now here you are, you have played this hand too hard. I love that. That's a good question. I would think it was a double-sided coin for Drysdale. I'm gonna take the easy way out of the question. I think it was a double-sided coin because he can connect to both of those things. Drysdale is a parent, and the idea that any of it could happen, I think, was really twisting him. It would not allow him to relax and to sleep. The idea that they would even do this, it completely blew his mind or my mind and shattered my senses. And then the other side of it, though, I think it really affected Drysdale more, now that I'm talking about it, that it happened in our legal system because he is a part of law enforcement. That was the thing that he really hurt. He built his whole career on, no, if you do the crime, you do the time. And if you follow the facts, and the facts prove one thing, that is how it ends. So I'm going to revise my answer to say no. I think that it was more the legal aspect of it because he is in law enforcement. He does see things. All sorts of people, they do all sorts of wild and crazy things. But the idea that the facts, in his mind, could say one thing, and it could have occurred within the legal system. I think it was earth-shattering for Detective Drysdale. We don't go forward into the future, but in my mind, Detective Drysdale may have even left law enforcement at that point, because he realized that the gospel that is preached is not always what is lived. At this point, I think he truly believes that statement. I think it's both. I think it's rubbing it in his face a little bit. I think he does enjoy this game of cat and mouse. That's why he does what he does. There's a part of him that really thinks, oh, you think you're smarter than me. You think you're wiser than me. You think you can be slicker than me. But here's what you can't. And not just with Michael. I think in general, I think a part of the job that Detective Drysdale still enjoys the most is the interview process, because it becomes a real game of cat and mouse.